Yeah.
This is Geek Therapy Radio.
What do we wait for?
And now your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger.
Welcome to this edition of Midweek Geek. I'm your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger. We're going to be talking about the new 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch model specifically. Before that, just one moment of house cleaning. I am not at the radio station right now, as you can see behind me. I'm at my apartment. I've had a couple of days off, which was nice, but Sarah went out of town, so I've been trying to keep busy. And I do look forward to going back to work tomorrow, because when your girlfriend's gone, you might as well just work. You know, otherwise you sit around here and you're just twiddling your thumbs, and I'd rather be at the radio station doing something productive. That being said, subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio, the podcast, with me, Johnny Hamburger. Geek Therapy Radio with Johnny Hamburger. You can find it on all sorts of platforms, but specifically Spreaker, the iHeartRadio app, iTunes, Pocket Casts, the podcast app on your Apple device, which is funny because I'm about to rip Apple a new hole for the MacBook Pro. But yeah, you can get Geek Therapy Radio that way, and you can also subscribe to this here YouTube channel if you're watching it on this here YouTube. But with that, let's get right down to brass tacks. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw the thumbnail. Apple is scamming you with the 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch. Gonna let that marinate just for a second, because that's a bold claim. That's a bold claim, but I'm gonna back it up now. There's one little caveat with that. I do not think the 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch, or the 13-inch, but specifically the 15-inch on the whole, is a huge ripoff. I mean, if you're thinking specs for spec, Mac versus PC, yeah, you're spending way more for the Mac. But the ripoff, the scam, I'm using the big S word, S-C-A-M, scam, is if you get the top spec'd MacBook Pro, 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch. I won't even say the top spec. I'll narrow it down even further. If you get the Core i9 2018 MacBook Pro 15, that's a scam. That's a scam, and Apple knows it. You are better off getting, if you really want the MacBook Pro, it sounds so counterintuitive to say this, but it seems to me, maybe somebody can comment below an argument against this, and this is a community. Your opinions are more than welcome. But it seems to me, my opinion, that if you go for the Core i9, let's say you're a professional wanting a MacBook Pro, like the name entails, if you want a Core i9, that's a scam. Apple knows it. You're better off going with the i7. You're better off going with the i7, and you can even spec it up from the i7 to include, the 4 terabyte solid state drive, which, holy crap, that's expensive. So the Core i7, 16 or 32 gigabytes of RAM, and even the 4 terabyte solid state drive. It seems to me you'd still be better served there. But here's why the i9 is a scam. Fully spec'd out, you could spend you get in the door with the with the MacBook Pro for $2,799, $2,800 according to Apple's website. But now let's add the Core i9. That's $3,099. Let's add 32 gigs of memory. That's an extra $400. So now we're at $3,499. Let's put the 4 terabyte solid state drive on there. Now we're at $6,699. Like, when it comes out of your mouth, when you say it out loud, it just seems ridiculous. And that's not even bundling in the software, the Final Cut Pro or the Logic Pro software in there. Let's just bundle it in there. Let's say you go full bore with this. You're not even adding the external GPU. You're not adding anything like that, any peripherals. It's just the MacBook with some software. $7,198.98. That's a scam because of that Core i9. That Core i9 It is aimed at professionals, but you will never, due to thermal issues. I'm not saying that the MacBook Pro isn't a beautiful machine. It looks gorgeous. It's machined aluminum and all that good stuff. Is it aluminum anymore? I think it is. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But where's that heat gonna go from the Core i9? It's an HK, 8950 HK, which doesn't HK mean unlocked? Doesn't mean theoretically you could overclock it, though I really doubt you can. I don't have a MacBook Pro. I don't know if you can overclock it. But traditionally, K processors, even HK processors, if you put them in a big, beefy 17-inch laptop with massive cooling in it, you can theoretically overclock it. Now, Apple is saying their Core i9 base clock is 2.9 gigahertz. It's the full 6-core, 12 threads. It is hyper-threaded. Goes up to turbo boost up to 4.8 gigahertz. That may be, and that probably is the case in very, very short bursts. Very short bursts. But here's the whole scam rub. They are marketing this towards content creators and professionals who need that horsepower. Let's say you go to render out your 4K video or whatever in Premiere or Sony Vegas or whatever, Final Cut, whatever your let's say Final Cut. Let's say you're using what they want to bundle in here, Final Cut Pro 10. Let's say you're rendering out a project. You will never see 4.8 gigahertz. Never. Never, never. I've heard reports, and you can check out Dave Lee's channel. I will put a card right up here for you to go to check out if you're watching this on YouTube. He did a very good job measuring the rendering times and all in the thermals and everything for this MacBook Pro, 2018 MacBook Pro with the i9. You are not going to see 4.8 gigahertz. And in fact, I believe it thermal throttles below base clock. The base clock for the Core i9 is supposed to be 2.9 gigahertz. And apparently it throttles below that. Do not take this as gospel, but really do check out Dave 2D's video up there. So it's a scam, and Apple knows. Why would Apple pack in a Core i9 8950 HK processor into a package, into a case, into a laptop that Apple knows can't handle it? That's why I say it's a scam. That's why if you get the fully spec'd i9 2018 MacBook Pro, it's a scam. Apple is fully expecting you to be a sucker. Fully expecting you to be a sucker, and they're just laughing at you. Apple's already been in hot water recently. Apple's been in hot water for a long time for various things. I have this theory that the boardroom at Apple is just filled with laughing hyenas. And you know, and before someone says, "Oh, that's libel, that's slander," is it that far-fetched? At every opportunity here, the folks at Apple had the chance to pull the plug on putting an i9 in a case they knew could not benefit from it. But they did put it in there, thinking they would sucker the prosumer into buying it because Core i9, yo. They knew it wouldn't work in that chassis. They knew it, but they did it anyways. And fully spec'd out, they want you to spend well over $6,000. They want you to spend almost $7,000, $6,700 basically. That's a scam. For the top spec'd 2018 MacBook Pro 15 with the i9, scam. But you know, they're not going to call it a scam, and there's going to be people who they're going to buy it. They are going to buy it, even though you can put the same processor in a different laptop and get the full performance out of it. You could. The MacBook Pro with just the regular i7, not a scam. That's probably where your money is better spent, honestly. The render, oh man, it's baffling. It is baffling the audacity that Apple knows they can get away with. There was somebody in that meeting thrown out of the window for saying, well, the i9's not going to work thermally, it's not going to work. You're never going to see those numbers. Apple executives probably just tossed that guy right out the skyscraper. They don't have a skyscraper. But they threw him out multiple glass panes in their glass building there in Silicon Valley. Because that's not the way they operate. They don't operate with what's best for the consumer. They operate in what's best for them. To sum it up, to their credit, to Apple's credit, they do offer solutions that work way better. The i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive. That's probably where you're going to do the best good. Even a 512 gigabyte solid state drive. It's NVMe. The read speeds and write speeds are amazing for the OS drive, for the main drive. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? Is that too bold of a claim to say that the top spec 2018 MacBook Pro 15 is a scam? Because Apple knew better. They put an overpowered chip into it. It's like, oh my gosh. Putting an i9 into a MacBook is like putting a turbocharged V8 engine on a bicycle in the middle of a frozen lake. You could have all the power in the world out there. It's never going to get traction. Never going to get traction. It'll move a little bit. It's never going to grip. It's never going to give you what it's promised, what the promise is supposed to be. You're spending almost $7,000 and you're not getting it. Ugh, that's it. I know this has been pretty... for YouTube, it's kind of a long video, but this is radio. This is long format, so hopefully I got my point across there. I really want to know what you think in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Yeah, I just came to my mind. What if you wanted to get this MacBook Pro fixed? God forbid you want to take it to an authorized Apple repair facility and get it fixed. Are they going to tell you, just like they said with the big desktop computer, that we can't fix it? Why can't you fix it? We don't even have the parts for it. Are you telling me you built a product that you don't have repair parts for? Apple is just in a mess right now, and I wonder what the reaction is going to be to this MacBook with the Core i9. I'm not alone. I'm probably the only one saying that it's a scam. You know, the top spec, top tier MacBook Pro is a scam. But again, I've rattled on too long. This is long format. This is radio, like I just said. So that's why it tends to be longer format. So thank you for bearing with me if you're watching this on YouTube. I know YouTube doesn't cater so much to the long format stuff, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. I really want to know what you think, so please comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spreaker or the iHeartRadio app or any other podcast platform that does allow commenting, leave me a comment. What do you think? Go to Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook and let me know what you think. You can also email me, geektherapy@iheartmedia.com. Let me know what you think there. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you loved it, please subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio's YouTube channel right here. And if you really love it, subscribe to the podcast and share the love. Share the love. At Geek Therapy Radio, this is aimed to help people find their inner geek, embrace their inner geek, find new hobbies and passions, or rekindle old ones to help them cope with the doldrums of life. I don't really like getting so pissy, but it really pisses me off. Apple's audacity sometimes really pisses me off, and I'm kind of a hypocrite here because I have an iPad. I'm looking at an iPad right here. That is not where I'm getting my notes from. I'm looking at my MSI GS43 VR PC beneath me. But Apple's audacity. I bought this iPad because it came down in price. What was it? $399, $299 for this thing? So they did good there. $6,700. I'm done with it. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time, and I will be in your ears for the next edition of Midweek Geek. But before then, the actual episode of Geek Therapy Radio drops on Friday, so be sure to you're subbed to the podcast. And it actually airs here in Houston on KPRC 950 AM, Saturday night at 12 a.m. Well, technically 12 a.m. Sunday, but it's Saturday night. If you're up Saturday night, tell your Uber driver to tune into KPRC 950 AM if you're here in Houston. Other than that, take care, my geeks. Thank you for bearing with me here. I'm just all fired up about this about this MacBook. So I'm gonna go play some Rocket League. How about that? Have a beer and play some Rocket League. But until next time, guys, we're all geeks about something. Embrace your inner geek, and I will see you guys next time.